Hey guys, how's it going? I'm back with another video, and yes, I know what you're thinking. Adam, it seems like you only make a video every 2 or 3 weeks, and for the last couple of months, that's definitely been the case, and I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry that I haven't been more consistent. Most of it has to do with the fact that I'm working, but that I'm not trying to use that as a total excuse. But also, a lot of it has just been me being unmotivated to make content and not really having anything fresh to really bring to the table. But I decided to make this video to go over my grunge slash classic metal collection that I've collected so far over this last year or so. And I thought it would be a fun way to, um, get back into the swing of things and hopefully, get me motivated to make more content as the days progress. So, and also, before I get started, I do have an announcement to make. I apologize. You're going to see me doing this move a lot. It's because I have like a bump, like right on the tip of my tongue, and it hurts really bad. So I apologize if my speech is less than stellar. But anyway, I do want to make a quick announcement before I get started. Tuesday night, October 29th. It's either going to be October 29th or October 30th, whenever that Tuesday is that week. I'm going to be doing my second annual Halloween Scary Stories Marathon. Now, I know some of you were there for that last year and you guys seemed to really enjoy that. And I thought since Halloween's right around the corner, I figured why not do it a second year in a row. So if you guys would be into something like that, basically what I do is I react to scary stories from scary story channels like Mr. Nightmare, Darkness Prevails. Those two specifically because those are my two favorites when it comes to listening to scary stories on YouTube. So shout out to those guys. But yeah, if that sounds fun, if that sounds interesting to you, go ahead and type in the comments who you would like me to react to and what type of scary story you'd like me to react to. Yeah. But without further ado, let's get started. I got my red Kool-Aid here because let's be honest, who doesn't like red Kool-Aid at 9 o'clock in the morning? It's refreshing. Okay, so like I said, this is going to be all of the grunge slash classic metal albums that I've collected over the last year or so. I had a lot more than I anticipated, and I've got these in alphabetical order. Let's move that over here. Just bear with me for a second. I tried to come as prepared as I could. So first, I thought what better band to start with than Alice in Chains. So we have Facelift, their debut album. Really, really great album. Really great. Songs like We Die Young, Man in the Box, Bleed the Freak. I Can't Remember. I think that's my most underrated song from this album. I Can't Remember. Really, really good stuff. Really great album overall. Okay. Now we have their second album, Dirt. I actually think this is my favorite Alice in Chains album at the moment. Um, with songs like Them Bones, Damn That River, Down in a Hole, Sick Man, Rooster, Wood. A lot of great stuff on this album. Ironically, this might be my favorite Alice in Chains album, but my favorite songs are actually not from this album. I'll get into that shortly. Okay, next we have Sap, which is a 4-song EP. I got to be honest, I have not listened to this in full yet. I've only heard the very first song, which is called Brother. Sounded pretty good. I'm definitely going to have to give this a listen, maybe later this morning or something. But yeah, I wanted to get all of the old school Alice in Chains. That was my goal. I don't know if I'm going to get, any of their newer stuff, and I know that's not fair. It's probably me not giving the new guy that's been with them a chance. And who knows, maybe one day. Okay, next we have their other EP, Jar of Flies. Now, this is the album or EP that has my favorite songs on it, Rotten Apple and Nutshell. In my opinion, those are two of Alice in Chains' best songs that they've ever written. Um, Rotten Apple is definitely my favorite Alice in Chains song of all time as it stands right now. I love everything about it. I love the music. I love Lane Staley's vocal performance. It's very ambient, very atmospheric at times. And when you can make a guitar sound like a harmonica in some spots, you're pretty talented. If you guys haven't heard those songs, or that song, Rotten Apple, you have no idea what I'm talking about. Last but not least, they're self-titled, or as they call it, the Dog album. Um, this one's probably my least favorite of the Alice in Chains albums, or at least from the Lane Staley era. Uh, I still like it, but it just, I like songs like Sludge Factory, um, Heaven Beside You, Brush Away, Frogs, but there's something about this album that I don't really keep coming back to, and that's not a knock on Lane Staley or Jerry Cantrell or any of them, but just doesn't have the same hit for me like the other stuff does. Okay, that was the A's. Now we move on to the B's. This is the only B that I have. This is a British grunge band that started back in the 90s. It's the only album that I have by these guys, but I think it's really, really good. It's Bush with their debut album, 16 Stone. Now, I actually didn't know that I knew a lot of the songs on this album when I was getting around to uh, listening to this. But I knew songs. They have great songs like Come Down, Glycerin, Machine Head, Everything Zen. I knew a majority of these songs already, and I didn't even know it was by Bush. But yeah, definitely check out those songs. Check out this whole album. It's really good. Yeah, I don't have any C's, so we're going to move on to the D's. Now, I was debating whether or not to add these guys because I don't think that they're technically considered grunge, maybe alternative 90s rock. But the reason I'm including them is because there are definitely some songs on here that have a lot of grunge influence. It's a band called Dishwalla with their debut album, Pet Your Friends. Um, the first 5 songs on this album are so good. Pretty Babies, Haze, Counting Blue Cars, Explode, and Charlie Brown's Parents. Those are all fantastic songs, and I think those songs are worth this album alone. Uh, you can definitely tell when you listen to those first 5 songs, you can hear the alternative side, sure, but you can also tell the grunge influence in the way that they use their instruments, especially the guitars, sound very gritty and exactly what you would expect from the grunge sound. Okay, now we're going to move on to the I's because I don't have any other letters, so. And this is going to be Iron Maiden. We have A Number of the Beast, which I think right now still stands as my favorite Iron Maiden album, with songs like Invaders, Children of the Damned, The Prisoner, 22 Acacia Avenue, and of course Number of the Beast. Hallowed Be Thy Name. You can't go wrong with any of these songs. So, yeah. Next we have Peace of Mind. Uh, another great one. You got Where Eagles Dare, Die with Your Boots On, The Trooper, Flight of Icarus. Um, this is not my favorite Iron Maiden album, but it's definitely up there. I would definitely put this in my top five. Uh, yeah. And next, I've heard a lot of people say that this is the best Iron Maiden album of all time. And of course, I'm talking about Seventh Son of a Seventh Son. Now, I do love this album. I love everything about this album. But I actually think this is my second favorite Iron Maiden album behind Number of the Beast. But my favorite song off of this album is the song Can I Play with Madness? I don't know, just something about uh, the delivery and the musicianship. That's easy for me to say. Uh, that song can do no wrong for me. But yeah, Seventh Son of a Seventh Son, so good. Okay, next, Somewhere in Time. This is not. I mean, this is probably one of my least favorite Maiden albums. I don't know if that comes as a surprise to anybody or not. It's still a really, really good album. I like Caught Somewhere in Time, Sea of Madness, Heaven Can Wait. Has a lot of good stuff on it, but I would consider this one of my least favorite Maiden albums so far. Sorry, guys. Okay, next we have another great Maiden album, Power Slave. This is probably my third favorite Iron Maiden album right now. Uh, you got Aces High, 2 Minutes to Midnight, Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner, uh, Power Slave. I mean, there's a lot of fantastic stuff on here. I mean, you can't go wrong with any of this. And I want to give a shout out to Zach D because he's the one that really inspired me to give um, classic metal. And I know he doesn't really like me using the term classic metal, but it's the only way I know how to describe it. But seriously though, thank you Zach D for making that video. He knows which one I'm talking about. Uh, he challenged me to really try to keep an open mind and to give this stuff a chance, and I'm really, really glad that I did. Because look where I am now, a year later. Okay, back to your regularly scheduled video. A next Maiden album, No Prayer for the Dying. Yeah, No Prayer for the Dying. I have not listened to this one yet. Um, I don't even know if I've heard any of these songs yet. Yeah, I have to get around to listening to this one. But yeah, I'm excited to try it out. Fear of the Dark. Um, I don't think I've listened to this one yet either, but I want to get it in my collection. Yeah. And this is my last Maiden album, Brave New World. Now, my plan is to get every album from Iron Maiden, Megadeth, Metallica, the big three. I know there's four, but I don't, and I know people say that that's. I've heard people go back and forth between Black Sabbath and Anthrax, so I don't have anything by them. So, but yeah, Brave New World. Okay, now we're gonna move on to the M's. Now we have Megadeth. Peace sells, but who's buying? Really, really good stuff. Wake Up Dead, The Conjuring, and this album actually has my favorite Megadeth song of all time for right now, and that's the song "Good Morning Black Friday." I love everything about that song. Next Megadeth album, uh, yeah, So Far So Good So What. Really good stuff. Set the World Afire, In My Darkest Hour, Hook in Mouth. Um, Lots of good classics on here. Next, my favorite Megadeth album as it stands right now, Rust in Peace. And I know that doesn't come as a shock to people because I've heard a lot of people say that this is a masterpiece of an album, and they're right. Holy Wars, Hangar 18, Take No Prisoners, Tornado of Souls, Poison Was the Cure. I mean, you can't go wrong with anything off this album. Awesome guitar work, awesome solos, just really awesome. Next, Countdown to Extinction. Really, really like this album. Symphony of Destruction, Sweat and Bullets, Foreclosure of a Dream, Architecture of Aggression. There's a lot of good stuff on here. Not my favorite Megadeth album, but definitely up there. I would say in my top 5. Okay, this is the last Megadeth album that I have, and this is their most... Yeah, I think this is their most recent one. That being Dystopia. Alright, next we move on to Metallica. And ironically, Metallica is the classic metal band that I have the least of. But I digress. We have Ride the Lightning. This has my favorite Megadeth song on it, and that is For Whom the Bell Tolls. I absolutely love that song. But it has a lot of other great stuff. Fade to Black, Trapped Under Ice, Creeping Death. Awesome stuff. Okay, next, Master of Puppets, the classic. And Welcome Home Sanitarium, Orion. Orion is probably one of the best instrumental songs I've ever heard in my life. I mean, I know I talked earlier about Alice in Chains and that song Rotten Apple, talking about how if you can make the guitar sound like a harmonica, but in this case, Orion, the guitar work is so well done that it feels like the guitar is actually singing the rhythm of the song. And that is so, there's not a lot of bands who can do that, but Metallica can do that. Awesome, awesome stuff. Okay, next, And Justice for All. This one, out of the ones that I have, and I only have one more Metallica album, this is my least favorite so far. And that's not to say that I hate this album. Couldn't be further from the truth. I like this album. It's just not one of my personal favorites yet. Maybe it'll grow on me. And last but not least, did you really think I wouldn't have this one at least? The Black Album. Now, I know people say this is overrated, and maybe it is, but I mean, come on. You got Enter Sandman, Sad But True, The Unforgiven, Through the Never, Nothing Else Matters, Struggle Within. I know that this is Metallica's most commercially successful album, I think. And maybe it is overrated, but that still doesn't make it any less of a great album. Okay, that does it for the M's. Next, we move on to Nirvana. This is going to be a long video. I guess you probably know that. I'm already 19 minutes in, and I'm halfway through. Their debut album, Bleach. Of course, the classic, Nevermind. I'm trying to cover up the obvious part because I don't want to get copyrighted or a strike or whatever. But yeah. And last but not least, the last album from them, In Utero. Okay. Next. This is the only album that I have by this band, and that's Pantera, Vulgar Display of Power. Next, I have two albums by this band. This is Pearl Jam. Have their debut album 10. I think this is their debut. I really like this one. Stuff like Once, Even Flow, and of course the hit Jeremy. I mean, you can't go wrong with that at all. And this is their second album, Versus. I don't really care for this album a lot. It's just not what I was expecting from Pearl Jam. Has some good stuff on here like Daughter, Dissident, Elderly Woman Behind the Counter in a Small Town. It has some okay stuff on here, but definitely my least favorite from Pearl Jam so far. Okay, next. As of right now, these guys are my favorite grunge band, and that is Stone Temple Pilots. Their debut album, Core, really, really great stuff, like Dead and Bloated, Sex Type Thing, Wicked Garden, Creep, Plush. Just really, really awesome stuff. And this is my favorite Stone Temple Pilots album of all time right now, Purple. There is not a bad song on this album to me. And it also has my favorite song of all time, which is Still Remains. I love everything about that song. Scott Weiland can do no wrong on this album. Stone Temple Pilots, number 4. And my last Stone Temple Pilots album, Shangri-La-Dee-Da. Okay, wow, we're down to the last part. Bet you guys are happy, huh? And that the last band is Soundgarden, and I only have 2 albums from them. Bad Motorfinger, right now this is my favorite by them. Songs like Rusty Cage, Slaves and Bulldozers, Jesus Christ Pose. Probably my favorite song on here is the song, there's probably a tie between Room 1,000 Years Wide and Mind Riot. Those are all really great songs. Whew, and last but not least, Soundgarden's Super Unknown, which has the hit Black Hole Sun. Everyone knows that one. It's got Fell on Black Days, Spoon Man, The Day I Tried to Live. A lot of great stuff on here as well. 23 minutes. Not bad. Anyway, guys, that is going to do it for my classic metal / grunge collection. I definitely look to adding more in the future. If you guys like this video, give me a comment down below. Tell me what you liked. Tell me what you didn't like. Tell me whatever you want. And like I said, don't forget the Scary Story marathon is going to be October 29th or 30th, whatever Tuesday night that is that week. Yeah. Anyway, guys, that's going to do it. I've talked long enough, and I need to take another sip of Kool-Aid before I go. Yes, I am drinking the Kool-Aid. I'm not funny at all. Anyway, guys, that's going to do it. Like I said, leave a comment down below, subscribe to my channel, and as always, I'll see you guys next time. Take care.